Alright guys, how's it going? My name is Nyxre and welcome to another episode of The Good, The Bad, and The Teemo, where today I'm going to be covering Support Shaco. As usual, here's a reference guide and our cheat sheet for this particular build. Keep in mind that I'm not necessarily saying this is the best way to go about building Support Shaco, but it is the way I went about testing it for the purpose of this video. An Imgur link to this reference guide can be found down in the description. Starting off with the good things about Support Shaco, he naturally has wards as a result of his Jack-in-the-Box. His boxes act pretty much exactly like wards do, with the added bonus of fearing enemies and doing damage when they get too close. This is particularly useful because it allows for you to delay getting your Sightstone so you can complete your support item very early in the game. Tied in with this is the very strong level 1 which Shaco has. This can go a few ways depending on how exactly you are playing him. If your jungler is starting on the bottom side of the map, Shaco's boxes allow for you to give your jungler a very strong leash where they shouldn't take any damage. You're also able to head to lane before the camp even spawns, which can give you the slight edge over your lane opponents. With this lead, you'll be able to continuously poke down the enemies with your Shiv at level 2. Support Shaco also has very good poke as long as the enemy laners don't have very long range. Because of this, Support Shaco is one of the best supports to go full damage when ahead. If far enough ahead, you can chunk the enemy for a significant portion of their health, with them having almost no way to avoid it. For the later stages of the game, Support Shaco has a lot of survivability. This is one of the advantages of playing Shaco regardless of what role you play him in, as mastering some of his abilities can ensure that you take very little damage. Deceive can let you blink away from enemy skill shots and get you over walls to put some distance between yourself and the enemy. Your ultimate will also allow for you to avoid taking any damage from an ability that is all but guaranteed to hit you. This also opens up the option of not taking Flash and taking both Exhaust and Ignite. This will of course only work if you use your Deceive very conservatively, but if played properly, Exhaust and Ignite can allow for you to more easily go all in during the early game to secure a few kills. However, if you don't want to be very aggressive, you can of course still take Flash and have multiple escapes in case of a bad fight breaking out. Moving on to the bad things about Support Shaco, he has some insane mana costs. For anyone who has played AP Jungle Shaco, you've probably experienced the amount of ramp up time needed to constantly be able to use your abilities. This is also true with Support Shaco, as you'll find yourself running out of mana fairly often until you've gotten your first few items. Another bad thing about Support Shaco is the activation time on his boxes. It takes some getting used to for you to have the boxes down in time for them to actually fear the enemy. In some cases you'll find yourself panicking and placing one down as soon as an assassin jumps on you, and in most of these cases it won't be enough to save you, as it would have needed to have been placed a few seconds earlier to activate. Combined with this is the issue that Shaco's boxes don't really last that long. Unlike Teemo's mushrooms which last 5 minutes, Shaco's boxes only last for 1 minute. This makes it very difficult for you to spam an entire area with them, which means you won't really be able to try and protect Baron or Dragon with it, unless you know the enemy will be heading for those objectives very soon. You're much better off trying to use your boxes to peel in the late game than you are trying to set up traps around an objective. Moving on to the Teemo, this section deals with the bigger issues there are with playing Support Shaco, and exposes some of the fundamental reasons why you normally wouldn't try out this build. First and foremost, Support Shaco is extremely squishy. This is true for several great supports, but most of them have a form of immediate peel to combat this. Shaco doesn't, and only has the option of running away once he starts taking damage. This can be fixed partially if you build items which have a defensive element to them, however this results in drastically less damage, which is one of the crucial aspects of playing Support Shaco. Support Shaco also has a terrible mid-game. This is particularly important in the specific patch because of how much games are decided by mid-game team fights. Shaco has a great early and a great late game, but this period in the mid-game where he can't really do anything can sometimes allow for the enemy to sneak their way back into the game and take the win. Playing Shaco as a support is also very difficult. Most supports can be played at least a mediocre level, provided you know the basics of the game, but this does not stand true for Support Shaco. You'll constantly have to keep track of your mana, know when to use your Deceive, and time your ultimate perfectly, or you'll find yourself getting one shot in no time. There's almost no room for error when playing Shaco this way, which is why you'll almost never see someone playing him as a support. All of the other supports in the game are either able to safely help out from the backline, or are great frontline tanks. Shaco is stuck somewhere in the middle, which makes him a mediocre pick at best. And that's all I have for Support Shaco. I have to admit, this build really wasn't all that fun to play. He feels so clumsy as a support, which makes sense, considering he's intended to be played as an assassin. And I mained Shaco during Season 5 with around a 60 to 65% win rate, and I would still advise against trying this in any game where you're trying to win. While possible, it'll be much easier to just use some other support in his place. Feel free to leave a like if you did enjoy this video, and subscribe if you're new around here and would like to see more. If you didn't like the video, feel free to leave a dislike. All I ask is that you leave a comment with what you think I could have done better, so that my future content can continue to improve. But anyways, that's all I have for you guys in this video. I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.